Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hi guys, I hope that you're doing well this weekend and, well, whenever and beyond, whenever and wherever you are when you're listening to this recording. I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you are paying attention to your shadow side, your shadow self, because this week we have been bombarded, I found out, by a lot of CIRs and CMEs, coronal mass ejections from the sun, lots of plasma waves, and we were just recently, according to the NASA report that Sarah O'Brien spoke of in her Why So Serious 24D channel on YouTube, she mentions that there was what did she say now? It's a supernova, a star that went supernova and just, I guess, exploded or whatever going supernova is. I think it's a massive explosion that started in 1054, the year 1054 AD is when this supernova went supernova. The energy of that, the plasma energy of that, hit us this week. Oh my God, that's how long it took. Almost 1,000 years to get to us. When it hit, what she saw with her quantum vision, her quantum sight, as that we were massively bombarded by what she only could describe as the purple or violet flame. It's a purple energy, and it's coming in to help us take care of all of our shadow stuff. So if you had been feeling really good and positive, suddenly you're negative and angry, and you're remembering bad things from the past that you have not yet resolved. If you are feeling suicidal or hopeless or worthless, these feelings are being brought up by the supernova plasma wave that just hit Earth this past week. And the CMEs and all the plasma waves and all the things from the sun that we are being bombarded with pretty much is causing these feelings. If you have already worked through all of it, you're probably doing great. You might be feeling like you're in pain and having some physical ailments. I'm having a hell of a lot of pain. I had plans to leave the house today and I couldn't. My ankle is swollen and hurts like hell, and my back, I could barely sit up as I'm talking right now. I'm writing this as I speak, actually. I am recording this during the day on Saturday. It's 5:36 p.m. right now as I am recording this. And I'm doing this early so that I can go smoke some weed and drink some whiskey and hope that my pain subsides. I have mentioned before, you cannot get a decent painkiller in this country. I mean, I could order cocaine, possibly. Maybe I could go find coke on the streets. But God forbid I can buy one Vicodin at the local pharmacy. None of that stuff is legal in Ecuador, and that's the only drawback for living here, that and not having a steady supply of red licorice. But I don't know, guys. I mean, there's a lot of physical ailments like tinnitus. For me, hasn't been so bad, actually, but it's been really bad for a lot of people. But it's mostly the emotional crap. Anger, fighting with other people in your family, miscommunications, lot of tears, I guess, whether they're tears of frustration or anger or just sad things. And plus, a lot of people have been dying, in our personal lives as well as famous people. Somebody else just died today. I got a note in my thing. It was someone who wrote something. I could look that up. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And, Peter Fonda yesterday. And so just be gentle with yourself if you're going through this stuff, and know that this too shall pass. Okay? Don't take it in and don't accept this as your reality, because this is your past reality coming back to bite you on the proverbial spiritual ass. And it will go away. You will be fine. Just work through it. Ask your angels, ask your higher guidance, ask God, ask the universe, ask your Aunt Edna, whatever or whoever will help you to feel better at this time. Go for it. Because if you're feeling worthless, it's not true. It's a big fat lie. It's an old time story you told yourself when you're back in the 3D world. All right? You're not there anymore. And you don't need to be emotionally there anymore. You need to sever all of your ties. I was listening to Aluna Ash today, and she said, if you can just change and vary your routine every day, get up at a different hour, do something new. Like if you are normally getting up at 11 a.m. and you're having your cup of coffee right away, why don't you get up at 9 a.m. and have a bowl of oatmeal? Do something different. Shake up your routine. She said even getting out of bed on the opposite side of your bed might be enough to shake up your routine enough to shake you loose from the 3D patterns of your past. We are now in the fifth dimension. We need to start living like we're in the fifth dimension. I know I've said this stuff before. This is feeling so much like deja vu. It's either from a memory of a past life or a future life. I don't even know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass right now and you've never heard the information and I thought about it, or maybe I'm remembering the future, or maybe I already did this on another timeline. I have noticed, I thought we were done with the timeline hopping, and I have noticed that I hopped yesterday again, and I'm like, what the hell? I thought we had all been brought down to one timeline. And maybe on the timeline we were on, maybe that's what we thought. I don't know. It's also super confusing to me, but I wanted to let you guys know that you need to, I want to gently remind you, or maybe a little bit kick-assy warrior-like remind you, that you deserve space and grace. You need to understand that you were chosen for this mission. You chose to come on this mission because you are so absolutely important to the divine, to the universe. You are important. Otherwise, your vote and opinion wouldn't frickin' matter, but it matters. And that's why you're here going through this stuff. So remember that you're important. Remember that you are special. Not more special than anyone else. We're all equally special, but we're special. Not in an Olympic way, which probably isn't okay to say anymore. Just trying to get you guys to laugh. But you need to understand that you deserve the space and the grace, and what you're going through now, if it's bad, it's going to go away soon. You got to shake up your routine, eat something different. If you're normally drinking coffee, get up and go get a Red Bull for the day. Don't do it every day, but just for the day. One of my most favorite things when I'm having arthritis like I am right now is just to go pop a couple Excedrin PMs that, not the PM, but the Excedrin that has the aspirin and the caffeine. And then I don't have to drink coffee. Bada boom, bada bing, done in 30 seconds and I can leave the house. I got my caffeine fix. In a different way though. But, maybe go to a restaurant that you've never been to. Eat a kind of food, try a new kind of food, or go try to talk to a stranger that you've never seen before. Pet a cat, something like that. Just shake it up, baby. Just shake up your routine in a way that is going to help you get out of your old 3D patterns. That's all I got to say about that, for real. But I don't know. I mean, listen to a song you haven't heard of in 10 years and dance, laugh, go watch the Producers, the original one, and then the newer one, the remake, the Gene Wilder one, and then the one later that had the Gene Wilder Zero Mostel. Oh my God, that is one of the most hysterically funny movies I've ever seen in my life. That movie, the first time I saw it, I was sick and I was kind of depressed, and I was sick with pneumonia. And my boyfriend at the time said, "I know it's going to cheer you up." One of my most favorite movies, and he put this movie on, and it was a VCR. I mean, that's how long ago this was. He put the tape in the VCR, pushed play, and we had rented it from Blockbuster. That also dates this story. And I laughed so freaking hard that I almost died. I could not stop laughing. I couldn't catch a breath, and I couldn't breathe because of the bronchitis and the asthma, and my nose was all stuffy. I almost died. This movie was so funny, it almost killed me. So it became my favorite all-time comedy movie for forever. I mean, that will shake you out of all of your junk. That or another movie. I mean, maybe Monty Python is more your style, you know, or maybe even just watching Archer. A brand new season just dropped on Netflix for Archer. My son was so excited. He's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a new Archer season." You know, whatever it is that makes you laugh. I mean, go to if you're in LA, go to the Laugh Factory if that's still around. That was one of my favorite haunts back in the day. I mean, when I was there, I met Janine Garofalo when she was first coming up. And I met Kathy Griffin and, what's his name? The guy who plays Saul on Better Call Saul and in Breaking Bad. I met him, I think it was maybe his first or second month doing stand-up. I mean, he was brand new. Bob Odenkirk. I remember shaking his hand, and he was so damn scared to have a conversation with anyone because he's an introvert that he couldn't even look me in the eye. He's like looking both ways, and he was like shaking, visibly shaking, and it wasn't even cold out. I mean, it was like crazy, and he really, 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 really wanted this. He wanted that dream, but he was terrified of one-on-one individual conversations. And all I was telling him was, "Hey, you know what? You're really funny. You have a lot of talent, and I could see you going very far with your career. And I really liked your set. You're very intelligent, and I just wanted to shake your hand and say thank you." That's all I said to him. And he couldn't handle the conversation. He was like looking both ways, eyes darting furtively. I mean, he looked like a criminal. It was really crazy. I'm like, what's happening with you right now, Bob Odenkirk? But anyway, go see amateur hour, you know, open mic nights, poetry, live music, dancing. Go out with someone you haven't seen in a few years. You know, and if you don't like the conversation this person normally, well, pick someone else. Or if they're the only choice you got, go to a loud place where you have to go, what? I can't hear you, what? Maybe we should just watch the show. And then you can still enjoy yourselves without having a conversation that's inane. Anyway, I'm looking out the window and all the clouds. I mean, it's a beautiful pale blue sky. I could see that things are changing. The energy of the world we're in now has changed quite a bit. The ground level looks pretty much the same. It's maybe slightly like one shade lighter or something. But the clouds are blue. There's no gray clouds anymore. They're blue and golden. I don't really see gray. Like what looks like gray, the more I look at it, the more I realize it's blue mixed with gold. It's very strange. So I don't know. I want you guys to go look around. Look around for real. I wanted to say thank you to Darcy for being a listener and reaching out and wrote me a beautiful letter today saying, thank God I'm not going crazy because I've been feeling like I'm freaking crazy. So me too. I mean, even now after at this late date, and I've been talking about this stuff a lot, I still feel crazy. I have days where I go, well, maybe we're having a mass hallucination on the whole planet. Maybe the magnetosphere is really screwing with our brains. You know, this is why I keep bringing up things like scientific evidence, actual science, because, you know, we could talk spiritual crap all day long, you know, and I can, you know, I'm channeling beings from all over, but do I have proof scientifically? No. But when it comes to the ascension and the energy and something's going on, and that's why I read to you guys from the Schumann Resonance, because it makes me have some sort of anchor that makes me feel like I know I'm not crazy. Like, here's the evidence. The Schumann Resonance was 7.83 for frickin' millennia, and now it's like 382 in Canada. That's got to show somehow scientifically that we're not all cracking up. But you know what? If we are all cracking up and we are all crazy, at least we're all crazy together. We could be on the Looney Tunes boat together, and that's okay. We can hang out with Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny, and that's okay. So, all right. Let's see. I forgot to ask you guys, about, not you guys, but I forgot to ask my higher guidance about the Ascension Symptom Scale for everybody, for the collective today. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'd like to be connected to Prime Creator, which I already was, but just to make sure we're connected, get a yes. Are we at 99 on the Ascension Symptom Scale today? Are we below 98? Are we at 98? Yeah, okay, so we're still at 98. That's cool. All right. Just like yesterday. I think we were at 98 yesterday. So sometimes I forget to announce it, but I usually put it in the show description. So if I do forget to announce it, just check out the show description. Honestly, ever since I started this, it's never been below 95, and it's never been above 99. If it goes to 100, we're already there. We've already ascended, anchored in, everything's good to go. All right, so I'm trying to see something here. I wanted to let you know that there is a brand new I can't even talk. What the hell? Series? No. I was going to say there's a brand new set and series, so I ended up saying series, and that just makes no damn sense. All right. There is a brand new list of things that show that an earthquake is imminent. Now, the set I'm going to tell you in a minute, these things are not always present before an earthquake, and it's not always consistent. Oh, but that was consistent, right? Forgetting to turn that off. Oh my God, I'm just flailing all kinds of ways here. All right. Let's see how I can explain this. All right. Oh goodness, I was there and then here we go. Okay. I have this list, but the list is like on a screen on YouTube and I'm like trying to fix that. Okay, on Skywatch Media News, he talked about a few days ago all of the warning signs that scientists have discovered that prove an earthquake might be imminent. Oh my God, I can't believe I got through that sentence. All right. So these things are really interesting. I couldn't believe it. He said that people have even photographed some of these things. Okay, so the first thing is mystery lights coming up from the ground in various colors. And they think that when these random, sometimes it's like, it looks like a balloon, like a round balloon in the sky that's like green or orange or red, and then there's like a streak, a streak of I don't even know, like light, not like lightning. It's not jagged. It's all curved and kind of a sensual shaped light. Anyway, it's round, and then the light that goes from the ground up. So it's almost like a poof of some kind of electrochemical process coming up from the ground as it's starting to rub together. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe a chemical reaction. It's very weird, but it's like a colored light coming out of the ground. Not quite like fire, not like a cloud. It's just a mystery plasma light, I guess. I've seen something like this. I thought that the aliens were taking over and we were all doomed. When I was in Detroit years ago, I saw a series of these mystery plasma lights, and they were like making a weird sound, like a boof, boof sort of sound, like boom, boom, but not quite a boom, right? It was just, and I mean, they were green, they were pink, they were blue, red, yellow, white, rainbow color. I mean, coming up from the ground, and it just looked like a lava lamp in the sky, a gigantic lava lamp in the sky. It's the only way I can imagine to say this to you. That's what it looked like. I mean, I was freaking out on Twitter. This is like going back, let's see, in 2015, I believe, during July, around 4th of July in 2015. And I was like, how come no one's talking about this? And the kids in the neighborhood talked about it, and the adults in the neighborhood acted like nothing happened, or they just didn't see it. I don't know. But no one would freaking talk about it. I was panicking. Like, what the hell was that? That's not normal. Is there a chemical plant exploding over there? What is that? It was coming near, it was near the river in Canada, which weirdly enough, oddly enough, in Detroit, when you go across the bridge to Canada, you're going south. It's really weird. You gotta look at a map. But, I don't know. It looked like these were globules coming up from the river on the way to Windsor, Canada. That's the only way I could say it. It's the only way I could talk about it. I don't even know. What it was. But anyway, mystery lights is the number one thing. Like, if you see a mystery light in the sky that's like, what the hell is that? And it doesn't look like a UFO. It's not a cloud. It's not a fire, or something normal. It's not, it's almost like what's that, ball lightning almost, but it's coming up from the ground. If you see something like that, it's very likely that within the next couple weeks, there's going to be an earthquake. All right. So the other signals to find out that this is, the other things to see, sky quakes. This is a new thing. It's a loud mystery boom, like a sonic boom, that they can only describe as a sky quake. Like an earthquake in the sky that lets you know there's going to be an earthquake on the ground. Another thing is multicolored clouds. Now, Michelle, if you're listening to this, you sent me a picture of a cloud that you took, and it looks like it's like a cloud bow. It's a rainbow made from clouds, or a cloud rain. I don't know. It wasn't quite a rainbow because it was in the shape of a small round cloud. And it wasn't quite a cloud because it was like a cloud bow. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, Michelle, send us a message so we can talk about this. When you saw this, and you live in Florida, wasn't there an earthquake within a couple weeks after that? After you took that picture? That's a weird thing to put together, right? Anyway, so that's a multicolored cloud, like a cloud bow, rainbow cloud, where you don't see the whole rest of the rainbow. It's just that. And there was no rain present to begin with. It's just the cloud hovering above the ground where there's going to be an earthquake. It's like a sign that it's coming. Now, unusual animal behavior, this is nothing new, but what is new to me, at least, is I found out that oarfish in Japan are revered. Those weird things, they look like snakes. They look like a common. It's like a snake had sex with a fish, and this is the baby, or like a really long eel. And they're really strange. They're fish, but they look like eels. They're like, I don't know, 5-6 feet long. Anyway, when they start to beach themselves because something's off in the ocean, that tells the people in Japan that an earthquake is going to be there within 2 to 3 weeks, and people start preparing. So they always have it on the news. Oh, an oarfish beached itself. Oh, nah, another earthquake's coming. Oarfish can tell that. Also, cats will run away up to a week before. They will hide in your closet or under the bed, or they'll stop eating. Cats that's cats, but dogs will sense it, and they will like take off running a few seconds before something hits. They will sense it. There was actually some footage. It was like a workplace security camera that just took constant footage, and it shows this dog racing away, and the people were like, oh no, and they started looking around, and they got up to go see what the dog was doing, and within 30 seconds the earthquake hit. So animals will act real strange. Birds will stop singing, crickets will stop chirping. So it's not just animals, it's also in insects. You'll see a difference in the behavior, and sometimes things will suddenly feel very, very quiet. And right before it happens, you'll hear a rumbling. If you're able to pay attention, there's no traffic near you. At the moment, you hear a rumbling, deep, low rumbling. And that's the sound of the earth moving as it races towards you, like a freight train. I was in the Northbridge earthquake, and I mean, I got used to that sound. It was like aftershock after aftershock for weeks. And, all right, I just looked up, and in the clouds, there's a little, like, the clouds are in the shape of little Lulu. Remember, or no, little Audrey. Actually, it's more little Audrey than little Lulu, but it's like a little cartoon girl with little pigtails. It just disappeared. That was so weird. I'm like, why are you guys sending me little Lulu or little Audrey? I think it was more like a little Audrey style picture, but you know, why don't you send me a cartoon I like Betty Boop? Loving the Boop. I love Betty Boop. And well, by the way, Boop Boop. So, all right. The other thing that they had was electronic interference. Electronic interference. So your TV will start to like be all sketchy, and it'll go in and out. Your electronics will start to act funky and weird. That's a sign that within the next week you might get an earthquake. And I guess when there's a massive earthquake, they could see the energy of it from space, like a sonic wave, or like a, I don't know, like a ripple in a pond. And there's certain instrumentation that they've at NASA they've discovered that they could see. So when there's an earthquake in Japan, on some level in your subtle energy bodies, you're going to feel the energy of that. And it affects everything, like the Schumann Resonance, the magnetosphere, all of it. Ionosphere, everything, noosphere, everything is affected. All the energy bodies are affected. Crazy, right? Anyway, that's something I've been wanting to tell you for a couple days. I kept forgetting, and I'd get to the end of it, and I'd be like getting ready to publish. It's like, oh man, I forgot that. So I'm glad I finally told you. All right, so lesson 70 in A Course in Miracles, acim.org, is my salvation comes from me. My salvation comes from me. So let's see what else. I want to pick out a tidbit that I like in this. All right. My salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only from me. Isn't this funny that the quote-unquote Savior is the one who said this? I mean, Jesus said this through, I always forget her last name, Helen, the person who channeled this entire book, someone who was a scientist who didn't believe in channeling, let alone God. And she grew up Jewish, so not Christian at all, not even believing in Jesus. And he channeled this message through her. My salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only from me. See, but he's talking about getting rid of your illusions of salvation so that you can help yourself, and you have to reach the light inside of you. But the clue is that we're all one. Wow. And as I'm saying this, I just looked up again, and now a whole bunch of clouds came up, and they're that beautiful cobalt blue again. They're just blue. I'm never going to get over the beauty of the sky here. I love it. And it's getting more and more beautiful in the fifth dimension, I've noticed. All right. So my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. So that should not give you much of a complex. The whole world is resting on your shoulders. Shoulders. But that's okay, because the whole world's resting also on my shoulders, and the whole world is resting on everybody's shoulders at once. We all are one, and your salvation comes from you. All right. Schumann Resonance news from disclosurenews.it. At noon today, August 17th, they finally got the date right. Oh, they went back and changed it from yesterday. Oh, I'm so glad they did that. I wonder if they heard the show. More likely than nothing else is that they probably are scientists and noticed the mistake as they went to check over their work. Oh, they did it again, though. They did noon and noon. So there's two reports at the same supposed time. So significant activity began this morning at 6 a.m. UTC. The variations have been increasing, with peaks at 22, 30, 35, 46, and 57. Bingo! I just had to do that. That just sounded so funny right there. Okay. The latter occurred shortly after 11 UTC. So that's, 57 hertz. That's awesome. And then they have a later report, apparently the same minute. For the 17th of the month, as often happened, there was a bit of entertainment with this representation created by these series of peaks, each lasting about 30 minutes of a series of bars. Regarding the values, the 57 hertz previously reported remained the highest. Okay. All right. It's not that much, though. Italy's numbers are always so much lower than the numbers on heartmath.org. And so we're going to go there now and look at, I got to fix the date on these things. Here we go. So we're going to look at 6 more places on Earth and compare the Schumann Resonance. All right, let's see here. Yay. All right. Now in California, the Schumann Resonance started off at midnight at 142 hertz frequency. By 4 a.m., it was to 136 hertz frequency in California. Now in Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, 6, that was it. Wow, lower than normal. 6 hertz frequency at midnight. Oh my goodness, they went down to 0 by 4 a.m. Wow, that freaks me out then when it goes to 0. All right, so midnight in Lithuania, they started off at 126 hertz frequency, and they ended at 123 hertz frequency at 4 a.m. In Alberta, Canada, for the whole world is super high. For Alberta, Canada, it's a little low. 259 hertz frequency at midnight, and then they went to 238 hertz frequency at 4 a.m. Okay, now Northland, New Zealand, Oops. Okay. Northland, New Zealand, they started off at 66 hertz frequency at midnight, and at 4 a.m. they were at 64 hertz frequency. Oh, that's no bueno. I can't lose my voice. It's how I'm talking to you guys. All right, in Hulului, South Africa, the hertz frequency of the Schumann Resonance at midnight was 72, and by 4 a.m. it was 73 hertz frequency in Hulului, South Africa. All right. I think that's it. What do you guys think? That's what we normally talk about in the beginning? Yes? All right. This is the second Saturday in which I am reading from the book, The Science of Getting Rich, written in 1910 by Wallace D. Wattles. So after this, I'm going to, read part 2. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Hi guys, I know that it's summertime, it's August, I was born in August, and I know this is a hot, hot month, especially if you're in the United States, and now we've sent the hotness over to Europe. So if you are enjoying the summer heat, but you're not enjoying what it's doing to your skin, I may have a solution for you. CTFO, known for its high-quality CBD oil hemp products. CTFO stands for Change the Future Outcome. Of course, this is changing the future outcome of your skin, your life, and, maybe your pocketbook if you decide to join the business for absolutely free. And the link is provided for the products and the business right in this show's description. I just wanted to let you know real quick that CTFO has a brand new full spectrum CBD oil, hemp oil infused SPF 30 sunscreen. So this looks amazing. This is really going to help you out with those fine lines, dark spots, and skin aging that normally would occur if you did not use any protection at all. As you know, CBD oil does help against free radicals. It helps get rid of wrinkles. It reverses skin conditions such as ruddiness, breakouts, and also inflammation in the skin. So this is a gentle, sheer formula enriched with antioxidants, and it protects all skin types as well as being water resistant. We also have a new After Sun skincare cream filled with vitamin D, and as you know, your skin would love to absorb the vitamin D, not just from the sun, but also from the cream after you're out of the sun. Remember, we talked about a couple weeks ago how vitamin D can help you absorb things like magnesium, potassium, vitamin C, and it goes down to the bone and it makes you so healthy. Vitamin D is excellent. And here it's this cream, this After Sun skincare cream has loads of vitamin D. So if you want to check it out, if you don't want to, that's cool. If you want to check it out, there is a link in the show's description. Just wanted to let you guys know. All right, guys, this is The Science of Getting Rich, a book written in the year 1910, so 109 years ago. And we left off at the end of chapter 4. Chapter 5, Increasing Life. You must get rid of the last vestige of the old idea that there is a deity whose will it is that you should be poor, or whose purpose may be served by keeping you in poverty. The intelligent substance, which is all and in all, which lives in all and lives in you, is a consciously living substance. Being a consciously living substance, it must have the nature and inherent desire of every living intelligence for increase of life. Every living thing must continually seek for the enlargement of its life, because life in the mere act of living must increase itself. A seed dropped into the ground springs into activity, and in the act of living produces 100 more seeds. Life, by living, multiplies itself. It is forever becoming more. It must do so if it continues to be at all. Intelligence is under the same necessity for continuous increase. Every thought we think makes it necessary for us to think another thought. Consciousness is continually expanding. Every fact we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. Knowledge is continually increasing. Every talent we cultivate brings to the mind the desire to cultivate another talent. We are subject to the urge of life seeking expression, which ever drives us on to know more, to do more, and to be more. In order to know more, do more, and be more, we must have more. We must have things to use, for we learn and do and become only by using things. We must get rich so that we can live more. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life seeking fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. It is power seeking to manifest, which causes desire. That which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is life seeking fuller expression. The one living substance must be subject to this inherent law of all life. It is permeated with a desire to live more. That is why it is under the necessity of creating things. The one substance desires to live more in you. Hence, it wants you to have all the things you can use. It is the desire of God that you should get rich. He wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. He can live more in you if you have unlimited command of the means of life. The universe desires you to have everything you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind that this is true. It is essential, however, that your purpose should harmonize with the purpose that is in all. You must want real life, not mere pleasure of sensual gratification. Life is the performance of function, and the individual really lives only when he performs every function, physical, mental, and spiritual, of which he is capable without excess in any. You do not want to get rich in order to live swinishly for the gratification of animal desires. That is not life. Do you guys hear the cannon going off in the background? Oh, it was fun timing. I'm going to reread that last sentence and we will continue. You do not want to get rich in order to live swinishly for the gratification of animal desires. That is not life. But the performance of every physical function is a part of life, and no one lives completely who denies the impulses of the body a normal and healthful expression. You do not want to get rich solely to enjoy mental pleasures, to get knowledge, to gratify ambition, to outshine others, to be famous. All these are a legitimate part of life, but the man who lives for the pleasures of the intellect alone will only have a partial life, and he'll never be satisfied with his lot. You do not want to get rich solely for the good of others, to lose yourself for the salvation of mankind, to experience the joys of philanthropy and sacrifice. The joys of the soul are only a part of life, and they are no better or nobler than any other part. You want to get rich in order that you may eat, drink, and be merry when it is time to do these things, in order that you may surround yourself with beautiful things, see distant lands, feed your mind, and develop your intellect, in order that you may love men and do kind things and be able to play a good part in helping the world to find truth. But remember that extreme altruism is no better, no nobler than extreme selfishness. Both are mistakes. Get rid of the idea that God wants you to sacrifice yourself for others and that you can secure his favor by doing so. God requires nothing of the kind. What he wants is that you should make the most of yourself and for others. And you can help others more by making the most of yourself than in any other way. You can make the most of yourself only by getting rich. So it is right and praiseworthy that you should give your first and best thought to the work of acquiring wealth. Remember, however, that the desire of substance is for all, and its movements must be for more life to all. It cannot be made to work for less life to any, because it is equally in all, seeking riches and life. Intelligent substance will make things for you, but it will not take things away from someone else to give them to you. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not to compete for what is already created. You do not have to take anything away from anyone. You do not have to drive sharp bargains. You do not have to cheat or take advantage. You do not need to let any man work for you for less than he earns. You do not have to covet the property of others or to look at it with wishful eyes. No man has anything of which you cannot have the like, and that without taking what he has away from him. You are to become a creator, not a competitor. You are going to get what you want, but in such a way that when you get it, every other man will have more than he has now. I'm aware that there are men who get a vast amount of money by proceeding in direct opposition to the statements in the paragraph above, and may add a word of explanation here. Men of the plutocratic type who become very rich do sometimes purely by their extraordinary ability on the plane of competition, and sometimes they unconsciously relate themselves to substance in its great purposes and movements for the general racial upbuilding through industrial evolution. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Morgan, etc., et al., have been the unconscious agents of the Supreme in the necessary work of systematizing and organizing productive industry, and in the end, their work will contribute immensely towards increased life for all. Their day is nearly over. They have organized production and will soon be succeeded by the agents of the multitude who will organize the machinery of distribution. The multimillionaires are like the monster reptiles of the prehistoric eras. They play a necessary part of the evolutionary process, but the same power which produced them will dispose of them. And it is well to bear in mind that they have never been really rich. A record of the private lives of most of this class will show that they have been the most abject and wretched of the poor. Riches secured on the competitive plane are never satisfactory and permanent. They are yours today and another's tomorrow. Remember, if you are to become rich in a scientific and certain way, you must rise entirely out of the competitive thought. You must never think for a moment that the supply is limited. Just as you begin to think that all the money is being cornered and controlled by bankers and others, and that you must exert yourself to get laws passed to stop this process and so on, in that moment you drop into the competitive mind, and your power is to cause creation, and your power to cause creation is gone for the time being. And what is worse, you will probably arrest the creative movements you have already instituted. Know that there are countless millions of dollars worth of gold in the mountains of the earth not yet brought to light. And know that if there were not, more would be created from thinking substance to supply your needs. Know that the money you need will come, even if it is necessary for 1,000 men to be led to the discovery of new gold mines tomorrow. Never look at the visible supply. Look always at the limitless riches in formless substance, and know that they are coming to you as fast as you can receive and use them. Nobody, by cornering the visible supply, can prevent you from getting what is yours. So, never allow yourself to think for an instant that all the best building spots will be taken before you get ready to build your house, unless you hurry. Never worry about the trusts and combines and get anxious for fear that they will soon come down. Wait a minute, sorry. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so let me read that again. Never worry about the trusts and combines and get anxious for fear they will soon come to own the whole earth. Never get afraid that you will lose what you want because some other person beats you to it. That cannot possibly happen. You are not seeking anything that is possessed by anybody else. You are causing what you want to be created from formless substance, and the supply is without limits. Stick to the formulated statement. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in the substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Chapter 6. How Riches Come to You. When I say that you do not have to drive sharp bargains, I do not mean that you do not have to drive any bargains at all, or that you are above the necessity for having any dealings with your fellow men. I mean that you will not need to deal with them unfairly. You do not have to get something for nothing, but can give to every man more than you can take from him. You cannot give every man more in cash market value than you take from him, but you can give him more in use value than the cash value of the thing you take from him. The paper, ink, and other material in this book may not be worth the money you pay for it. But if the ideas suggested by it bring you thousands of dollars, you have not been wronged by those who sold it to you. They have given you a great use value for a small cash value. Let us suppose that I own a picture by one of the great artists, which in any civilized community is worth thousands of dollars. I take it to Baffin Ray and by salesmanship induce an Eskimo to give a bundle of furs worth $500 for it. I have really wronged him, for he has no use for the picture. It has no value to him. It will not add to his life. But suppose I give him a gun worth $50 for his furs. Then he has made a good bargain. He has use for the gun. It will get him many more furs and much more food. It will add to his life in every way. It will make him rich. It will make him rich. When you rise from the competitive to the creative plane, you can scan your business transactions very strictly, and if you are selling any man anything which does not add more to his life than the thing he gave you in exchange, you can afford to stop it. You do not have to beat anybody in business, and if you are in a business which does beat people, get out of it at once. Give every man more in use value than you take from him in cash value. Then you are adding to the life of the world by every business transaction. If you have people working for you, you must take from them more in cash value than you pay them in wages. But you can so organize your business that it will be filled with the principle of advancement, so that each employee who wishes to do so may advance a little every day. You can make your business do for your employees what this book is doing for you. You can so conduct your business that it will be sort of a ladder by which every employee who will take the trouble to climb to riches himself, and given the opportunity, if he will not do, so it is not your fault. And finally, because you are to cause the creation of your riches from formless substance, which permeates all of your environment, it does not follow that there are to take shape from the atmosphere and come into being before your eyes. If you want a sewing machine, for instance, I do not mean to tell you that you are to impress the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance until the machine is formed without hands, in the room where you sit or elsewhere. But if you want a sewing machine, hold the mental image of it with the most positive certainty that it is being made, or it's on its way to you. After once forming the thought, have the most absolute and unquestioning faith that the sewing machine is coming. Never think of it or speak of it in any other way than as being sure to arrive. Claim it as already yours. It will be brought to you by the power of the supreme intelligence, acting upon the minds of men. If you live in Maine, it may be that a man will be brought from Texas or Japan to engage in some transaction which will result in your getting what you want. If so, the whole matter will be as much to that man's advantage as it is to yours. Do not forget for a moment that the thinking substance is through all, in all, communicating with all, and can influence all. The desire of thinking substance for fuller life and better living has caused the creation of all the sewing machines already made. And it can cause the creation of millions more, and will whenever men set it in motion and desire by faith and by acting in a certain way. You can certainly have a sewing machine in your house, and it is just as certain that you can have other things or any other thing or things which you want and which you will use for the advancement of your own life and the lives of others. You need not hesitate about asking largely. It is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom, said Jesus. Original substance wants to live all that is possible in you, and wants you to have all that you can or will use for the living of the most abundant life. If you fix upon your consciousness the fact that the desire you feel for the possession of riches is one with the desire of omnipotence for more complete expression, your faith becomes invincible. Once I saw a little boy sitting at a piano and vainly trying to bring harmony out of the keys. I saw that he was grieved and provoked his inability to play real music. I asked him the cause of his vexation, and he answered, "I can feel the music in me, but I can't make my hands go right." The music in him was the urge of original substance, containing all of the possibilities of all life. All that there is of music was seeking expression through the child. God, the one substance, is trying to live and do and enjoy things through humanity. He is saying, I want hands to build wonderful structures, to play divine harmonies, to paint glorious pictures. I want feet to run my errands, eyes to see my beauties, tongues to tell mighty truths and sing marvelous songs, and so on. All that there is of possibility is seeking expression through men. God wants those who can play music to have pianos and every other instrument, and to have the means to cultivate their talents to the fullest extent. He wants those who can appreciate beauty to be able to surround themselves with beautiful things. He wants those who can discern truth to have every opportunity to travel and observe. He wants those who can appreciate dress to be beautifully clothed, and those who can appreciate good food to be luxuriously fed. He wants all these things because it is Himself that enjoys and appreciates them. It is God who wants to play and sing and enjoy beauty and proclaim truth and wear fine clothes and eat good foods. It is God that worketh in you to will and to do, said Paul. The desire you feel for riches is the infinite, seeking to express Himself in you as He sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano. You need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to focalize and express the desire to God. This is a difficult point with most people. They retain something of the old idea that poverty and self-sacrificing are pleasing to God. They look upon poverty as a part of the plan, a necessity of nature. They have the idea that God has finished His work and made all that He can make, and the majority of men must stay poor because there's not enough to go around. They hold on to so much of this erroneous thought that they feel ashamed to ask for wealth. They try not to want more than a very modest competence, just enough to make them fairly comfortable. I recall now the case of one student who was told that he must get in mind a clear picture of the things he desired, so that the creative thought of them might be impressed upon formless substance. He was a very poor man, living in a rented house and having only what he earned from day to day, and he could not grasp the fact that all wealth was his. So after thinking the matter over, he decided that he might reasonably ask for a new rug for the floor of his best room and an anthracite coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. Following the instructions given in this book, he obtained these things in a few months. Then it dawned on him that he had not asked for enough. He went through the house in which he lived and he planned all the improvements he would like to make in it. He mentally added a bay window here and a room there until it was complete in his mind as his ideal home. And then he planned its furnishings. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way and moving toward what he wanted. He owns that house now, and he's rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. And now with still larger faith, he is going on to get greater things. It has been unto him according to his faith, and it is so with you and with all of us. Chapter 7. Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. This is true, and you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here and give you instructions which, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of the mind with God. It will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who live their lives rightly in all other ways, are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make the acknowledgement. It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. It is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one who never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the Supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply is that mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. The good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited. And to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The law of gratitude is a natural principle that action and a reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement toward you. Draw nigh unto God, and He will draw nigh unto you. That is a statement of psychological truth, and if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will be always toward you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how He always seems to be saying, I thank Thee, Father, Thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power. But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting you more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, you begin to lose ground. You fix attention upon the common, ordinary, the poor, the squalid, and mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. Then you will transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and the common, the poor, the squalid, and mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior, and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. Also, faith is born of gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon one's own mind produces faith, and every outgoing wave of grateful thanksgiving increases faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith, and without a living faith, you cannot get rich by the creative method, as we shall see in the following chapters. It is necessary then to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Do not waste time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of plutocrats or trust magnates. Their organization of the world has made your opportunity. All you get really comes to you because of them. Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy, and your opportunity would be greatly lessened. God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government, and He is going right on with His work. There is not the least doubt that He will do away with plutocrats, trust magnates, captains of industry, and politicians as soon as they can be spared. But in the meantime, behold, they are all very good. Remember that they are all helpful. Remember that they are all helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you. And be grateful to them all. This will bring you into harmonious relations with the good in everything. And the good in everything will move toward you. Chapter 8. Thinking in the Certain Way. Turn back to chapter 6 and read again the story of the man who formed a mental image of his house, and you'll get a fair idea of the initial step towards getting rich. You must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it yourself. You must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress thinking substance because they have themselves only a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do, to have, or to become. It is not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth to do good with, quote unquote, because everybody has that desire. It is not enough that you should have a wish to travel, see things, live more, etc. Everybody has those desires also. If you were going to send a wireless message to a friend, you would not send the letters of the alphabet in their order and let him construct the message for himself. Nor would you take words at random from the dictionary. You would send a coherent sentence, one which meant something. When you try to impress your wants upon substance, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be definite. You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. Go over your desires just as the man I have described went over his house. Just see just what you want. Get a clear mental picture of it as you wish it to look when you get it. That clear mental picture you must have continually in mind, as the sailor has in mind the port toward which he is sailing the ship. You must keep your face toward it all the time. You must no more lose sight of it than the steersman loses sight of the compass. It is not necessary to take exercises in concentration, nor to set apart special times for prayer and affirmation, nor to quote-unquote go into the silence, nor to do occult stunts of any kind. Their things are well enough, but all you need is to know what you want, and to want it badly enough so that it will stay in your thoughts. Spend as much of your leisure time as you can in contemplating your picture, but no one needs to take exercises to concentrate his mind on a thing which he really wants. It is the things you do not really care about which require effort to fix your attention upon them. And unless you really want to get rich so that the desire is strong enough to hold your thoughts directly to the purpose as the magnetic pole holds the needle of the compass, it will hardly be worthwhile for you to try to carry out the instructions given in this book. The methods herein set forth are for people whose desire for riches is strong enough to overcome mental laziness and the love of ease and make them work. The more clear and definite you make your picture then, and the more you dwell upon it, bringing out all its delightful details, the stronger your desire will be. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to hold your mind fixed upon the picture of what you want. Something more is necessary, however, than merely to see the picture clearly. If that is all you do, you are only a dreamer, and you have little power or no power for accomplishment. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it, to bring it out in a tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an invincible and unwavering faith that the thing is already yours, that it is at hand, and you have only take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically. In the mental realm, enter at once into the full enjoyment of the things you want. Whatsoever things ye ask for when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them, said Jesus. See the things you want as if they were actually around you all the time. See yourself as owning and using them. Make use of them in imagination just as you will use them when they are your tangible possessions. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct. Then take the mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. Take possession of it in mind, in the full faith that it is actually yours. Hold to this mental ownership. Do not waver for an instant in the faith that it is real. And remember what was said in a preceding chapter about gratitude. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it is already taken form. The man who can sincerely thank God for the things which as yet he owns only in imagination has real faith. He will get rich. He will cause the creation of whatsoever he wants. You do not need to pray repeatedly for things you want. It is not necessary to tell God about it every day. Use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, said Jesus to his pupils, for your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things before ye ask him. Your part is to intelligently formulate your desire for the things which make for a larger life, and to get these desires arranged into a coherent whole, and then to impress this whole desire upon the formless substance, which has the power and the will to bring what you want. You do not make this impression by repeating strings of words. You make it by holding the vision, which is of unshakable purpose to attain it, and with steadfast faith that you do attain it. The answer to prayer is not according to your faith while you are talking, but according to your faith while you are working. You cannot impress the mind of God by having a special Sabbath day set apart to tell him what you want, and the forgetting him during the rest of the week. You cannot impress him by having special hours to go into your closet and pray, if you then dismiss the matter from your mind until the hour of prayer comes again. Oral prayer is well enough and has its effect, especially upon yourself, in clarifying your vision and strengthening your faith, but it's not your oral repetitions or your oral petitions which get you what you want. In order to get rich, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without ceasing. And by prayer, I mean holding steadily to your vision with the purpose to cause its creation into solid form and the faith that you are doing so. Believe that ye receive them. The whole matter turns on receiving once you have clearly formed your vision. When you have formed it, it is well to make an oral statement addressing the Supreme in reverent prayer. And from that moment you must, in mind, receive what you ask for. Live in the new house, wear the fine clothes, ride in the automobile, go on the journey, confidently plan for greater journeys. Think and speak of all the things you have asked for in terms of actual present ownership. Imagine an environment and a financial condition exactly as you want them, and live all the time in that imaginary environment and financial condition. Mind, however, that you do not do this as a mere dreamer and castle builder. Hold to the faith that the imaginary is being realized and to the purpose to realize it. Remember that it is faith and purpose in the use of the imagination which makes the difference between scientist and the dreamer. And having learned this fact, it is here that you must learn the proper use of the will. All right, guys, next week we are going to start with chapter 9 of The Science of Getting Rich. I hope that you have been enjoying this book. Some of the things are a crack up because they don't really occupy our minds anymore, like, you know, the captains of industry. There's not really a lot of talk these days of the owner of the railroad. In fact, I have no idea who owns the railroads now. I think that Amtrak must own the, you know, which is owned by the federal government, but I don't really know. I don't really know. So that kind of discussion, that made me laugh pretty hard. That was really funny. Anyway, I hope that you're enjoying this book. We'll be back next Saturday with the third part of The Science of Getting Rich. And tomorrow, as usual, we'll be back with all unique programming. So, yeah, if you feel like giving me a little email, you want to write to me, you may do so at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. If you want to send me a voice message, feel free to do so at anchor.fm/metaphysical. So thank you so much for listening and being my loyal follower, subscriber, friend, fellow person in the Ascension journey with me. I want to thank you for being there and for listening and for sharing my podcast with others who you think might enjoy and appreciate this. All right, well, that's all I got to say about that for tonight. I love each and every one of you. But now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.